Last week we talked about how precious time is and the different ways in which we spend our time. And what does it mean to be present with the time that we have? And ultimately, what does it mean to have the gift of time that Jesus gave us when He traded in His life for ours? This segment, I want to talk to you about a different kind of time that God has given us. You know, this watch was on the wrist of my grandfather when he passed away in 2009. My grandmother, just in a random visit, she gave me this watch. The band was broken and it no longer worked. This watch, like my grandfather, had stopped ticking. Years went by. I put it in a bag. It wasn't something I wanted to look at, and I shoved it and stuffed it all away. And one day I finally decided it was time to take this watch out. So I went to Swatch because it was a Swatch watch, and I walked in and I gave this watch to the manager, and he began to work on this watch and work on the band. He tinkered with it for 30 something minutes just fixing the band alone. You know, when you think about it, what we do when a watch stops ticking, we get together, we put the watch in the front of the room, and we remember the watch. We remember its good times and its good moments and the memories that we had when the watches around us ticked well. You know, when we get together, it's not actually for the watch that stopped ticking. It's for the watches that are still ticking. The watch that stopped ticking, I don't believe is present. So we do these interesting things, and we put the watch that stopped ticking in the front of a room. We talk about it and remember it. But I want to remind you the significance of the love of Jesus that we talked about in our last video, that He would trade in something so special and so priceless for you. The other side to that is when perfect love meets perfect power. See, when Jesus would rise again, something amazing happens. The gift of time that was given to us once in Christ is given to us a second time. See, this watch can do a lot of things, but this watch quite literally cannot understand the hand of the watchmaker. This watch is precise and it's beautifully and wonderfully made, but it can't understand why its band was ever broken. It can't answer questions like why. What were the circumstances and situations that led to it no longer ticking? It can't answer those questions. It's trapped within space and time, but yet the hand of the watchmaker is quite literally outside of time and space. That's the significance of what began to happen in the hands of the watchmaker. He put the band back together, and he plugged in a new battery, and he polished it all up, and in an instant, it started ticking again. You know, for many of us, we've loved and lost watches and clocks that stopped ticking. And what I want you to know is, for all of us here, it's been days, weeks, months, years, maybe decades, maybe centuries since other watches, from our perspective, stopped ticking. But you know what? For this watch, in an instant, it stopped ticking. And in an instant, it started ticking again. No time passed for this watch. And what that means, if we can even conceptualize the significance of the power of Jesus and His unbelievable love and sacrifice, is that when this watch starts to tick again, all of us who loved and lost this watch will be right there with it in that moment together. But a blink of an eye, shorter than a breath, quicker than the thought that could go through your mind, and it's all right back, beautifully and wonderfully made, and in fact, made now in perfection, without a single scar or a single flaw, living in perfect time, a second time, together with Jesus in the hands of the watchmaker.